Hi guys, Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about our YZ300X build. This is a 2016. We've upgraded the bodywork to the newer style. I don't remember what year they changed it. I'm going to say 20 or 21 where they kind of changed the bodywork. So we've upgraded it to that. But basically these bikes, this is a 20-year-old design. And there's almost no changes in those 20 years. The engine's the same. Chassis the same basic bike over the last 20 years. All right, so I like with all builds, and we've got a previous build video on this, but this one is just kind of update you some because I've made some changes on it this spring and summer, and we've got a lot more riding time on it. Cycle News magazine was out here and they wrote it and really liked the bike. I was kind of surprised how much they did like it, but they seem to really enjoy this model. All right, so after the initial impressions of riding this bike, obviously the suspension was a weak link for me, but we were trying to keep this build reasonable on the price points, although we got totally carried away because as some of our vendors heard that we were building this bike, they wanted in on the deal, so they threw some parts and pieces at us that we probably wouldn't have normally put on it, just because we were trying to make this not a budget build, but not a full enchilada build either. Well, let me just talk about how the bike rode stock. So it was definitely too harsh in stock form. It did okay, and I think if you lived in an area where you just kind of had smooth, flowy trails, the stock suspension would be fine with the springs that you need. You know, if you're outside the parameters of 165 to 185 pound rider with gear on, then you probably need springs. But you can get by probably if you lived in that type of area. We're out here in the rocks and the roots, and I know back east you've got plenty of roots as well, and some definitely rocky areas. Then you're going to need to consider some changes, either revalving it or putting in some different components. So what we went with was Raven cartridges. So it's a whole unit, fits inside the stock KYB Worx. And then on the back, we put a National Shock. And those two things totally transformed this bike. And we pretty much nailed that on the first go around. And the Cycle News guys really commented about the suspension on it. They really liked it in the rocks and the roots. And you might want to tune into their channel. I assume it's on their YouTube channel and their Instagram. They'll have videos about that experience. My main goals were to fix the suspension and to give the motor more power for the elevation and just more torque for anybody who's riding at any elevation. So we went with a Cylinder Worx 300 kit. And if you get one of those, you might want to contact us before you install it because the instructions are a fail on the power valve installation. If you install it like they tell you, the things will not rev. I've got a little trick in there that makes them rev like a stock bike. Although a 300 does not rev as high as a 250. So if you're a hardcore revving guy that likes to be on the rev limiter all the time, then you should probably leave it as a 250. But this 300 kit gave it a bunch more bottom end, made it really rideable down there in second and third gear, just grunting along through all the nasty stuff. I'm pretty much over kickstarting any motorcycle, and this thing does not kick that easily, just partially because the kick lever is kind of high, the bike's kind of tall. I've got a bad hip from an accident, and it was a booger for me to kick this thing. So Fishmoto hooked us up with an electric start kit. That's a fantastic product. We've had no issues with it whatsoever. Starts the bike extremely well. Starts really fast. Part of that is because it's got electron carburetor on it, and the guys at Electron have been very helpful on this project because they didn't really have a fueling setup for the 300, so they developed that for me and then sent me some different parts and pieces to try, and we got it nailed. This thing runs extremely well, very crisp, starts on it, which works great for trail riding. We've got a different chain guide on it that's just mainly for reliability, a molecule skid plate, some guards, bulletproof guard there, and a disc guard as well, E-line pipe guard, molecule skid plate, molecule hand guards that I can't say enough good about, XC gear, Mako 360 handlebar mount. We put a Vortex ignition on it. That definitely helped clean things up. FMF pipe, an FMF 2.1 turbine core. Colorado, we're required to have spark arresters, so that's why this is on there. So it's got an Apex clutch in it. That's a whole new complete clutch package that Recluse has now for these YZs. It's got a hub that looks real similar to a KTM style center hub. This is what Cody Webb is using on his 250. I had a Recluse auto clutch in here, a 4.0, but I could never get the engagement points the way I wanted it. They're doing some redesigning of that product right now, so within a month or two they'll have that sorted out. And this Apex manual clutch has got an excellent feel to it. It works very well. The engagement point and the way it locks up, it's just an excellent product. I've also got tubeless on the front and rear. I love tubeless. All right, so the big question is, and the one we get quite often in texts and emails and YouTube comments is this a YC? Is this a KTM 300 beater? No. This is a 20-year-old bike. It's a damn good 20-year-old bike, but it's still a 20-year-old technology. But for you guys who have these, a lot of these components we put on here would make a big improvement to your bike. And I totally get it that if you're on the blue crew, you're probably not interested in swapping over to the orange crew. And for those guys, then this build should show you your options on how you can make your bike work better. It is an excellent bike. This bike's going to make somebody really happy. It's going to be for sale here real soon. We've got too many bikes in the garage right now, so we've got to clear a few of them out. So I'm going to wrap this up with please like us on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube, and get out and shred some rubber. That's all for now.